day, Philippines. Hello, Region 1. Aloha, San Carlinian learners. Airing live from the mango bamboo capital of the Philippines, San Carlos City. You're tuning in to CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner, where passion is the key. Learning paves the way. With our division mantra, developing creativity, maximizing versatility. This is your CCN Broadcast Center. CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner.
Good morning. Welcome to CCN. This is Teacher John, your ALS teacher for this morning. I know that you are excited to learn, watch, and explore the field of science. So our lesson for this morning is understanding your sense organ. And this is for the junior high school level. Okay, let's start our lesson for this morning. But before that, I have some questions for you that you need to answer. Let's start for the first question. Here we go. Our eyes is our organ for A, smell, B, hearing, C, vision, D, touch. I will be giving 5 seconds to select or choose your answer. The correct answer is letter C, vision. Another question is, the innermost layer of cell inside your eyes is called blank. A, mucous membrane. B, conjunctiva. C, retina. D, choroid. 5 seconds to answer this question. The correct answer is conjunctiva, letter B. The visible part of your ear is called blank. A, ear. B, auricle. C, flaps. D, shell. 5 seconds. The correct answer is letter B, auricle. You hear sounds through blank. A, vibrations. B, music. C, noise. D, light. Okay, the correct answer is letter A, vibration. So the last question is, the smallest bones of your body are found in your blank. A, eyes. B, nose. C, mouth. D, ears. 5 seconds. Okay, the correct answer is letter D. You can find in your ear. So if you get a 3 above, you're amazing. Don't worry, we will make it sure that you will learn a lot from today's lesson. Okay. Imagine a kind of life when you could not see anymore. Hear the sounds, taste the food you are eating, smell the flowers and the aroma of cooked food, and touch and feel the things that surround you. What a dark and empty world it would be, right? The different senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin, and their corresponding senses, sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, will be tackled in this lesson. How these organs function, their structure, and importance will also be discussed. Another question, have you ever wondered what will happen to you if you lost your eyes and ears? How will you ever see the beauty of life and hear the sounds of music? We learn with our senses. We learn from what we feel, taste, smell. More importantly, we learn from what we see and hear. These two are the most developed among our senses. We can easily identify our surroundings through the use of eyes and ears. Our objective for this lesson is A. Explain how the eyes and ears function. Identify the parts of your eyes and ears. And for letter C, explain the function of the parts of your eyes and ears. So let's get started. Okay, observe your surroundings. Where are you now? What do you see? And what do you hear? What if you can't see? Will you still be able to know what is happening around you? And how? Maybe you'll answer yes, right? Even if you can't see, you can learn what is happening through the sounds that you hear. But what if the other way, you can see what is happening around you, but you can't hear any sound from your surroundings? Do you think you will be able to understand what is happening around you? If answer is yes, that's correct. You can still understand your surroundings by looking at them. However, it will be more difficult if you can't hear a sound. For example, you saw your sister coming and she is telling you something. It is difficult to understand. It is difficult to understand her if you can't hear what she is saying. We find out about the world we live through our senses. We learn our senses. We see with our eyes. The sight tells us things that we are outside of our body. Our eyes give us pictures or images. Or the way things look. Your eyes show your light, color, shape, and the size. The eyes and ears receive messages from the outside world and transmit them to the brain. Our eyes, our organ for vision. Our ears, on the other hand, is our organ for hearing. Now, okay, let's learn more about how your eyes, its function, parts and its function. Okay, as you can see in the picture, okay, what happened to the black dot in your eye if it is the light is turned off? Would it widen or did it narrow? On the other hand, what if the light is turned on? Will your black dot in your eye, will it be widen or narrow? To answer those questions, let's take a look for this. Okay, what do you think is the reason for this movement? The eyes and sight. So this activity tells us how the pupil or the black in your eye. Our eye is like a camera. It reacts to light. Can you see the black dot in the middle of the colored part of your eye? That is called pupil. This pupil is like an opening of camera. In a dim light, the opening widens. In the bright light, it narrows. Okay? Alright. So, let's talk about our eyes, the parts and the function. How do we see and how do we react? Alright. Try blinking one of your eyes in front of a mirror. If you have the mirror with you, okay, try it. Can you see the skin that covers your eyes every time it closes? Of course, you can see it. That skin covers your eye is called eyelid. Okay, we call it eyelid. The eyelid, it protects your eyes from tiny objects that might enter your eye. Mucous membrane, if you can see the picture, the mucous membrane below your eyelid is a thin layer of tissue. We have also the tear gland. The tear gland, it is always wet because on top of your eye, behind the eyelids, that produce tears. The tears helps clean your eyes every time you close your eyelid. We have also the eyelashes. Eyelashes brush away a tiny object and dirt from entering your eye. Okay, you can see the picture of the anatomy or eye anatomy. This is the outer part of the eye. Let's take a look here for the inner part of the eye. We have 3 layers of eyeballs. The eyeball are 3-layer or lining of cell. The first part, we can see here the sclera. The sclera is the white part of your eye. Okay, in front of the sclera, on the top of the colored part of your eye, we call it the iris. It is a transparent covering called the cornea. You can see the cornea in this part. Another one, the cornea protects the lens of your eye, and it allows light rays to enter the eyes and help to focus them. A thinner layer, transparent tissue covers the sclera is called the conjunctiva. So again, we have also the choroid. This is the middle layer of the wall of your eyeball. It absorbs excessive lights and gives rise to the iris, which sounds an opening called the pupil. We have also the retina. This is the innermost layer of your eyes where light-sensitive cells are found. Once again, those are the 3 layers of the eyeball: the retina, sclera, and choroid. Okay, let's have here the eye itself. All right, our eye, as I told you earlier, our eye is like a camera. It reacts to the light. Can you see the black dot in the middle of your colored part of your eye? Once again, I told you that is a pupil. The pupil controls the amount of light that enters the eye. If it is too bright, the pupil narrow to protect the eye from too much light. If it is dim, the pupil widen so that more light can enter in our eyes. The color part, okay, if you can see your eyes inside in the mirror right now, the color part of that surrounds the pupil is called the iris. Its color comes from the substance called melanin. Absorbs strong light that might shut the eye. And strong light could cause blurred vision. Okay, so since you have learned how the pupil works, consider the stage as just a door or an entrance. A lot of things still happen after the light enters the door and the door closes. As the light enters the eye, it passes through the lens. The lens helps in focusing the image to make it clearer. As the light goes through the lens, it turns the light upside down. The lens focuses the light rays or the inverted image on the back of your eye or on the retina. So you can see here, the retina at the back of the eye, the lens, and the bright will be inverted, okay, to capture the information or the things we see. Okay. So, as I stated earlier, the retina is the innermost layer of the wall of the eyeball. Light-sensitive cells absorb light rays, or the inverted image, changing them into signals. There are two types of sensitive cell inside the retina. The first one is the rod and the cones. Do you know what are they though? Do you know what are they for? Let's find out. The two types of light-sensitive cell is the rod. Rods, there are 120 million rods. This enable the eyes to see different shade of gray and black. On the other hand, the cones, 6 million cones, this enable the eyes to see colors and sharp images in the light. So they detect color. The rods detect black and white. Remember, these cells turn the inverted image into electrical signals that travel along the optic nerve to the brain. It is important to note that there are no rods and cones at the area where the optic nerves enter your eyes. This is the blind spot of your eye. The optic nerve carries the messages to your brain, and the brain then decodes the electrical signal, seeing the object the right side out. Now, we will talk about the ears. Okay, it is interesting, right? So, how does our ear works? Our ear, just like our eye, has many parts that make us hear. This is the ear anatomy. Our ear is divided into 3 regions: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. This is the visible part of our ear. It is composed of auricle and the external auditory canal. Try touching the ear curve flaps beside your ear, which you call the ear, okay? But this part, we call it the auricle. So the auricle, or the outer portion of your ear, is the one that collects sounds from your surrounding. Why are your ears shaped like seashells? Ears are shaped like seashells because they are the best way to collect sounds from your surroundings. Okay. And look at this picture. When somebody is whispering to you, place your hand in your ear. What do? Oh, by the way, the name of the boy is Tolitz, and the name of the girl is Marites. Tolitz placing his hand to his ear. Okay? So, ano kaya ang sinasabi ni Marites kay Tolitz? Alright. So, this happened because your hands helps your ear pick up the sounds coming from your friend. Okay? External auditory canal, it is the opening of the air. Remember that. And the tube goes inside your ear until it reaches the eardrum. And the eardrum is a very thin membrane or tissue, only 0.00 of an inch or 0.1 millimeter thick, stretched along the opening of the external auditory canal. Sound that pass through the external auditory canal strikes the eardrum, causing to vibrate. So this is the middle ear. As they travel in the ear canal, they strike the eardrum and make it begin to vibrate. This vibration make other parts of the ear, called the middle ear, to vibrate too. A very small cavity or pocket in the skull bone immediately inside the eardrum forms the middle ear. Inside this small pocket in chain of these small bones called the auditory ossicles. And this chain of small bones stretches from the eardrum to the oval window. And the oval window is the entrance to the inner ear. So, the middle ear, it has a small bones. The hammer, the anvil, and stirrup. As you can see in the picture of the middle ear, or the anatomy of the middle ear. So, do you know that the 3 small bones found in your middle ear are the smallest bone in your body? It sounds cool, right? The first one is the hammer. So the hammer, and sometimes they call it malleus, this bone is the largest auditory ossicle, and it connects the eardrum to the anvil if it is attached to the tympanum. Number 2 is the anvil, or sometimes they call it incus. This bone is the bone in between the hammer and the stirrup. And the number 3 is the stirrup, or stapes. This bone is attached to a thin sheath of tissue of a membrane called the oval window. When the vibration reaches the stirrup pushes in and out of the oval window and will begin the function of the inner ear. So, as you can see, the semicircular canal and the cochlea. When the vibration reaches this again, the cochlea is the coiled structure. Okay, the cochlea, as you can see here, this is the coiled structure or the shell-like structure inside your ear. It is a small bone shaped like a seashell. It is filled with liquids. Its function is to convert sound waves to impulses, what are transmitted by the auditory nerve to the brain. As the cochlea begins to vibrate, okay, this part, it makes the liquid inside vibrate too. The vibration of the liquid tickle tiny hair that line the cochlea, causing them to vibrate and send messages to the auditory nerve. The nerve also acts like an electrical wire and send the message to your brain. The tiny part of that organ, or the tiny part of that part is called the organ of corti. Remember, we hear through vibration. When the brain receives the sound message, again, it figures out what the sound is, what is making the sound, and what you should do about it. All right. Do you have any idea what makes you keep your balance? Well, deep in your ear, are the 3 tubes that connects to a chamber. These tubes are called semicircular canal. These canals are not involved in hearing, but are involved in maintaining balance. They lie in the 3 different planes and are arranged at right angles to one another, which helps control the balance. The canals are sensitive to changes in the movement and direction. And it's time for question. All right. So, just to let you know, why does a welder in a welding shop use a dark protective eyewear or welding mask while working? All right, it's because a welder uses dark protective eyewear or welding mask to protect his eyes from too much light, because too much light can cause blindness. That's the reason why welder use that protective eyewear. Another question is, why do you get dizzy when we ride a vehicle or a boat? Have you tried it as well? As the vehicle or boat moves, its motion tends to upset our balancing system, thus making us feel dizzy. Changes in the tilt of an angle of the body are sensed by the chamber. Irregular motion can disturb the normal function of the semicircular canal and might result to motion sickness. How do you take care of your ear? If you take care of your ears by keeping them clean, very good. If your auricles are dirty, or dirt and bacteria could enter into your inner portion of your ear. Dirt and bacteria could cause an ear infection that could lead to diminished hearing or a total loss of hearing. So keep your ear clean. All right, last question is, do you think it is important to keep clean always? Why? You keep your ear rather clean by using cotton buds. Put some oil on the tip of the cotton buds and gently clean your auricles. You can also insert a little bit, but in your external auditory canal to clean them. Be careful not to insert the cotton buds too deep. You might damage your eardrum. Do not use sharp object when cleaning your ear. You might damage the skin that lines the external auditory canal. All right, remember this. Okay, let's have the summary of the lesson we have today. Remember, our eyes is our organ of vision and light perception. The sense of sight helps us recognize each other and learn what about things that we see around us. Our ear is our organ for hearing and balance. The sense of hearing helps us to recognize sound. Our eye is composed of many parts, like the layers of cell of the sclera, choroid, and retina. And our ear is composed of many parts too. It has 3 regions: the outer, the middle, and the inner ear. Again, thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned a lot of things for today's lesson. Again, this is John, your ALS teacher, and thank you for watching.
Good day, Philippines. Hello, Region 1. Aloha, San Carlinian learners. Airing live from the mango bamboo capital of the Philippines, San Carlos City. You're tuning in to CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner, where passion is the key. Learning paves the way. With our division mantra, developing creativity, maximizing versatility. This is your CCN Broadcast Center. CCN Broadcast Center, a virtual home of every SDO-SEC learner.